Hello, Aegis. I'm just getting things. This was super last minute, so I'm just getting things kind of set up here. I'm a little disappointed in the. I'm a little disappointed in the quality of the picture there. It's not very good. I don't know. I've never done a film setup with this frame, so it's a learning curve for all of us. I was gonna try and find an image. I wish, can I like force it to focus? Is it not focused? Look at that. It looks so out of focus. It's just not focusing at all. I'm just gonna. It is at an angle. Aegis. And we are going to disconnect and reconnect the camera real quick. It is at an angle because my camera is at an angle. So we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna do that, and we're gonna see if we can get it to refresh. There it goes. Okay, that's at least clear. I can handle that. That's at least clear. Yes, it is at an angle. You are not imagining things. That's because my camera is at an angle. Hey. There we go. That is where we're at. So we're gonna try our best. I'm way far away from the mic, in fact, so I'm gonna turn the input gain up way high. Higher than I normally would. Just because I had to, like... Sorry if I blew your ears out with that. Also, that's super loud in my ear. I want some music. Oh, good. Okay, perfect. You can actually hear me pretty well. Now that I've got cords dangling everywhere, I'm just gonna kind of, yeah, see it do like that. Okay. So that I can have my pattern. So, let's see, we're gonna do Zelda map. I was gonna do some stitching and I thought, oh, what the heck, I'll see if anyone wants to pop in. Hey, Grim Squirrel! We're gonna try and do some stitching. So I apologize in advance if this is kind of rough. Oh yeah, that's right, there was one other thing I was gonna set up for you guys real quick. Un second, por favor. Let's see. Back up. And then I apologize for the dead air. Yes. I want no. All of that, all of that. I'm gonna try and put an image up on screen so that you can see what it's gonna look like when it's all done. That's the idea anyways. Okay, here we go. And then if I come over here, it's not an office if there's not cords dangling everywhere. It's fair. It's fair. All right, we're going to add an existing image. No, we got to create a new image, okay? Image. Oh, shoot. I can't. Okay. Bother. Well, I don't want to spend too much time kerfuffing over it, so I won't do it that way. But the cheat sheet way I have of doing it is to show you. So that's what it's going to look like when it's done. Yes, it's very much at an angle, I apologize. But that's what it's going to look like when it's done. So, hence the Zelda map. Alright, so now we're going to get to the actual pattern. And just for visual of the pattern, although I'll zoom out a whole bunch. So, like, that's where we are. So that's how much we've actually completed. So that's this bit right here. So now I think what I'm going to do, let's see, where do I have the camera up there? I need to consider moving the camera to a spot. So so this up here is when I was doing exclusive diagonal stitching. So this is where I would not change colors. I would just do the very next color, the very next color, the very next color, and then finish it off in this diagonal you see here. But that's very time consuming and you have to rethread your needle a lot. So if we kind of meander over this way, you'll see my phone in the corner there, but you'll see, there we go. If you look down here, you'll notice I'm doing what's called cross country, which is where you just take a single color and you just do every X of that color until you run out of thread, and then you start a new thread and you just do that over and over and over and over again. So we're going to actually see if we can get even closer. There's probably going to be some shadow. Excellent. Now I just gotta figure out where my darn needle went, because apparently it's not here. Holy crap, so I got all of this set up and then I don't have a needle? Oh my gosh. Hello, Simon. Hey. Stitches get very detailed. Yes. Well, and this is, just to put this into context, you saw how much percentage complete I was, which is to say not very much. You saw how I had just a tiny corner of the screen, but this is like my hand in comparison to how much I've gotten done. It's like there's my hand in comparison to how big this section is. So when the whole thing's done, it's gonna be like 20 inches by 20 some odd inches. Shoot. I apologize. I do have to go get a needle though, or I can't stitch anything, so I'll be right back. Enjoy the music! Yeah. I was gonna stitch anyway, so. Here we go. Thankfully, I keep my bag of goodies fairly close by. Don't need extra scissors though. So let's see. So we've got, what am I looking at here? 26. 24. I think we're going to use a 24. So this is what's called an 18 count. If those who have been part of my Stitch streams before will note that we were talking about over 2 versus over 1. So as you can probably kind of sort of already see on the camera, there's these little holes everywhere that already exist in the fabric. The higher the count, the smaller and closer together those holes are. So this is actually a semi-larger count. All of these little X's are approximately the same size as the little X's on my Rogue project. But they go 1 hole to 1 hole instead of over 2 holes, because that's how much bigger the holes are. So we need to find a spot and start moving. Where are we? Here? You know, I could fill in that little gap up there. Okay, let's try that. Okay. 422 it is. So, 422, 422. Where is my 422? There it is. But yeah, how is everybody? How are y'all doing? I hope good. Hope people are chilling. I can't remember if it's 18 holes per inch. It's 18 stitches per inch. Whoops, I just de-threaded my own needle. It's 18 stitches per inch. So every single stitch is technically 4 holes because it's a cross over a 4x4 square. So let's see if I can do this with this camera in my way. I'm not used to the camera being kind of where it is in relation to where I am, if that makes sense. Straighten it out a little bit though, that's not bad. Oh, okay, there we are. So let's see, so 2, so it's actually going to be these 2 guys right here. Let's see how much work I can get done. Oh, I probably need to lower my chair a little bit. Alright, lowering my chair. Ugh. So that I can stitch comfortably, presumably. I mean, it's always going to be a little bit awkward with, like, camera and lights and mic. It's always going to be a little bit different than if you were actually stitching without those things. But the goal is to have a setup that is... Oh my gosh, you're going to be difficult. Of course you would. It's because I'm on camera. That's why. I'm on the tallest setting that my large floor stand will allow, so you're probably going to see a lot of wiggling, unfortunately. I do not intend to make you seasick. I'm so sorry about that. That's just how wobbly the actual stand is, kind of. Admittedly, it's more wobbly than when I have it in the living room. I wonder if it's because it's on carpet. Because I don't normally have it on carpet. Okay, let's see. And we're actually going to raise this up. I don't normally bring it over to the game room, but... let's see. So, those two... The next one is up here. Tighten this a little bit so it doesn't drop, because it is dropping. There we go. Scoot up close to it. And... the new Pokemon app. Trading card app? Huh. That is a thing, I guess. I did not know about that. Okay, so those two, and I just gotta be careful not to hit the camera with my hands, because I totally would. Okay, so let's see. So we're gonna mark those two. Mark those two. And then we're going to... These two look like they were already done. Actually, this isn't bad. I think I can do this. I do wish that the light wasn't quite where it was, casting so many shadows, but sometimes beggars can't be choosers. It was either doing this or starting Ranger, which I have, like, most of the threads for, but I haven't quite pulled all of them. Ranger would have been much easier to set up at my desk as it is much smaller, but I think I have to cut the fabric, so I didn't want to do that. And truth be told, I should restrain myself and not start Ranger. What I should do is get Needlebug on the line and fix my Artificer fabric and do Artificer instead. That would be more the ideal. Well, Aegis, when I started the project, we weren't in that system yet. That system hadn't come across my lap yet. What in the world? Okay, I got it. So, and you know what? Alright, hot take time. I love Coach. I love DC-20. I love all the things. I'm just gonna call them Rangers. I'm sorry. I don't really like the whole we gotta change the names of things because we're trying to differentiate ourselves from Wizards' product. I mean, it's not necessarily bad. It's not inherently bad. Like, I don't entirely disagree with it, but it's just like, it kind of just makes me go, ugh. I'm still just gonna call them Rangers, honestly. I don't think that a product gets to dictate, like, you know, no one else can use Rangers now because WotC uses them. It's like, I don't know. I'm just gonna call them Rangers. Oh! It's a swordplay and sorcery. Hello, good sir. Wonderful. In fact, this is my break, because I just did recording for the next video because I'm a week late. Go figure. And I'm basically just gonna Madak rush to get it edited in time. But, yeah, I just finished recording the latest video. And, I mention you at the back end of it. You and Claudia Wild as resources. So, that's awesome. Because you guys really are your phenomenal resources. Way more detailed than me. I'm like generic. But that's okay. I've decided that I'm okay with that. Let's see, I'm gonna see if I can scoot this over a little bit. My target, my aim is to be the less detailed version. You know, I'm gonna adjust this just a little bit. Pardon me, guys. Okay, maybe I'm not gonna adjust it. Maybe OBS is just gonna throw a temper tantrum and I'm just gonna live and let live with the camera angle. And again, apologies for not quite as much interaction, but I would think that the reason why would be kind of apparent. I'm not staring at my monitor, I'm staring away from my monitor. It's like when I'm gaming, I can just like see the chat out of my peripheral vision, and I can't always like read it, like I still have to glance at it to read it, but I can still like, it's just right there, whereas when I'm stitching, I have to like stop and look up and... Aww. Yeah, I think that I'm finding with the last video was something that had been bouncing around for a bit, and then finally I just said, screw it, I'm gonna put it out there, I'm gonna make it. And I think that turned out to be a pretty good decision, and I think I'm finding my voice, my niche, my little corner, as it were, of the DC20 community, which is the you know, I have the tasty analogies. You know, Mr. Wild's videos are the math and the specifics and the details, which are really, really great. In fact, I'm probably going to use a lot of his videos once I get back around to absorbing them. Just because I watch it doesn't mean I absorbed it. I need to get around to absorbing them. But once I do that, I'm probably going to use a lot of his information as reference, you know? Because it's really solid information. But I think that my style going forward is going to continue to be the sort of, you know, more generic kind of family-friendly version, I guess. Oh, I like where your head's at there, Snow. I like, or Snow, did I say Snow? It's Soy. Oh, wait, no, Simon Snow. Okay, there we go, Simon Snow. I did have it right. I should have just trusted my gut. But yeah, I'm enjoying them. I'm enjoying the, I wish I could keep making just the stick figure videos, but man alive, they are so much harder to do. And you wouldn't think it, because I'm not even properly animating them. I'm just doing like basic stick figures, and I'm reusing the same stick a lot of the times. You know, you'll see it if you look. It's the same stick over and over and over again. But man alive, is the production value just, or the you know, the time and cost. And let's see, 1 2 1 2, so it doesn't go here. Yeah, it's not really viable for me. And I'm having a lot of fun making these videos, and it harkens back to the dream that I had of when I first got it into my head to even make videos at all, which was long before I had a channel. It was actually going to be a Stitching 101 video. Oh shoot. Cool. We are... I can't see how far in we are. The OBS is, the clock is time covered, but we are however far we are in, and I've already made a mistake. That's okay, though. I think I can recover this particular mistake. Actually, no, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go all the way back to, should be this one? Yep. We're gonna go back to this one. We need to do one more just this side of it. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, he is a teacher, and it's wonderful. It's like when you're looking for reference, when you're looking for information, spot on. Which is why I went ahead and did it. I did like a shout out to him, and then of course the monster conversions. I did a shout out to Swordplay and Sorcery, which I'll be putting their little logos up in the video when I edit it. But, you know, like for more detailed resources, and I'm just trying to have fun and kind of be entertaining. Informative, but entertaining. And I'm also trying to let my own energy come through a little bit. Because sometimes when I get talking about a thing, and people who went through the Subnautica streams with me will be very familiar with this, where I just like kind of suddenly stop and go on like a long thing about some subject or another. And you can't, you know, you never got to see that on camera, but I'm usually like gesturing a lot and stuff, so I'm trying to capture some of that like positive energy. Just positive energy though. What is it about DC-20 and teachers? Coach is a teacher, well, or coach. No, he was like a legit math teacher, and also he was a coach, right? And Claudio is a teacher. And one of my players is a teacher at my table. Teachers everywhere. That's okay, though. That's okay. I had some great teachers growing up, so I like teachers. I had some bad ones, too, but we don't talk about those. We just talk about the great ones. Seriously, when I was growing up, like when I was in like middle school, high school, there are certain teachers that were very, very, I would say prominent. They had a significantly lasting impact on my life and me as a person. My home life wasn't the greatest. You know, kind of had some stuff going on, as one does. And there were certainly some teachers that stepped up a lot in terms of, and I don't even know if they know it either. I'm pretty sure that they don't even know the impact that they had on me personally, but they did. Okay, I probably should mark some of this as done before I lose myself. Oh yeah, Claudio is fantastic. And playing with him and Gary and all those guys was so much fun. Oh my gosh. That was amazing. I also enjoyed the Avenue Studios one I did too. I think I struggled with my character a little bit more. Like, I had a concept, but I kind of struggled to, like, I wasn't entirely sure how to play her. And so she kind of comes across as, I think, lacking character somewhat. But then, partway through, my player brain took over. And so I wasn't really, like, role-playing very strongly. I was more, like, the whole, using the journal to figure out if the Sugar Plum Lady was really the Sugar Plum Lady or someone pretending to be her and stuff like that. Like, my player brain kind of came out a little bit. Okay. Again, if this is shaking a whole bunch, I do apologize. I hope the audio is coming through clear. I hope that the song is pretty. I hope that people are chillaxed. I probably should have tea with me. I don't. I need to come up with a thumbnail with Zelda Map 2, because the thumbnail that's on this one right now is technically Mira, which is rolled up right now. I don't even have her. Out. Out. Oh, thank you, Swordplay. I didn't, I struggled for some reason a little bit more than I might have with, say, like, the whole Sheila Crow thing, just, the character wrote itself with that. But I struggled with, Cassie. I had, like, a concept. Okay, pardon the floor and the pajamas as I flip myself around here. Oh, don't you dare. Did it just de-thread? Oh! Oh, I found my other needle, guys! This wasn't actually the one I was working with. This is the one I was working with. I found my other needle. It was just chucked into the project somewhere I couldn't see. It's possibly hard for the team to find their RP voice besides being silly. Yeah, there was a general I don't know what the word of it is, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, it was just a different vibe. You know, it wasn't the immersive roleplay heavy vibe. It was more like, hey, we're four people who want to play a game together type vibe. You know, it was a little more on the surface, if that's the phrase. It was still good, minds. Yeah, little, well, and then, oh gosh, I didn't realize my audio was peaking. The whole thing with, like, that it was horror, but it was gingerbread, kind of added to the slapstick of it. Let's see. I think I might have to retire the one needle. I honestly can't tell. They both look black. Yeah, that one's definitely black. This one I can keep. This other one I have to retire. Yeah, I have to retire them when they turn black. It's basically the oils from your hands from so much use rubs away on the finish of the needle. But I really enjoyed it. I don't know how to put this next bit. I genuinely don't know how to feel, like, true 50-50, don't know how to feel about Foundry. That was my first ever experience with Foundry, ever. Just like the one with Sheila Crow was my first ever experience with Roll20, ever. I had never used either of those systems prior to those live streams. And, gosh, I mean, on the one hand, Foundry is like, no wonder people love this. I mean, it's automated to the nth degree, and the DM has to do 90% of the work, so it's like, I really can see why people appreciated having it. I mean, I had like an actions page, I had spells, all I had to do was like click a button on my hammer and then I'd hit my hammer, or click a button on my catapult and then I did my catapult. Like, it was so cool, but at the same time, as someone who has I really stick to my guns when it comes to paper. When D&D Beyond first launched, before Wizards bought it, me and Steve had it, and he ran characters out of it. I used it to introduce my table group to D&D. Whoa. Hey, buddy. Whoa, what you got? What? Okay, wow. That escalated quickly. Hello. Speaking of Steve, and he shall appear. Oh, with foods. Look, chicken. Taste test. Okay, I have taste test. Your timing is perfect. Look, I managed to get my thread completely stuck.
Nice.
I don't know how, but
well done.
We were talking about the you can weigh in on this, actually. This involves you.
42 except on Thursdays.
I think that may have actually come through the mic. I have the input gain turned a little up, so but using D&D Beyond for the character sheets.
Okay.
Versus pen and paper, and what that experience was like, and why we ended up going back to paper, and the benefits of that.
So it was nice because you had access to all of your things at a glance, like all of the descriptions and spells and abilities and definitions and all that stuff. Pen and paper is more traditional, and you get to stay more focused at the table, I feel.
Ooh,
but then you spend more time, like when you're trying to think of what you're going to do next, you got to break out the book and look up the rule and look up how this works and what can you do. And
that's what flashcards are for.
Well, sure, yeah, but
I think although you do make a point about the ease of use. All right.
Sorry, I have a pan that's burning right now, so I need to know if I need to add anything to it before I pull them off.
It's broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and chicken taste test. Learning the character. See, here's the thing. I like the idea of the paper because I feel like people learn their characters.
Sure.
Well, Brussels sprouts are really good.
Okay. So broccoli, I have a good feeling. Okay.
Exactly what Swordplay just said.
That's fair.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the consequence of having access to a phone
Mm-hmm.
and you forget all how to remember numbers.
Mm-hmm. It's like that.
So we're good. Nothing needs to be added.
The only thing I would say is that it's a little too peppery, but other than that.
Well, it's chili frame. This is the heat of the dish.
Ah.
So the veggies are a little bit spicy. Chicken's a little more seasoned.
When you come this way, maybe some sleepy tea?
Hey.
If.
Okay.
If. Okay. We got unstuck. What happened was I didn't cut the tail off my previous thread, and they're the same color, so it got caught up on this thread, and that's what caused the thread to get stuck. So thank you for that intermission. But yeah, exactly what Swordplay just said. Where the kicker with the pen and paper that I really liked is that when you build your character on a piece of paper, even if it's just a notebook, like even if you build your character in a notebook, you know, not on an official character sheet, just something about interacting with the paper gets you to like learn your character, learn the mechanics. You make little spell cards, you make little flash cards, you make little index cards, what have you. And you're just in the game. Whereas come on, there you go. And he's not wrong. Having character sheets where it automatically calculates modifiers and stuff is super convenient. Super handy and convenient. Or the list of actions where you can just glance at a list. But you have, you know, you don't have to let a machine do that. You can create that yourself on a separate page. You know, you can write down just because you don't have to use like the official character sheet, right? Yeah, Simon, I have a desk job, plus I do gaming, plus channels, so I spend a lot of time staring at screens. Okay. Alright, we're back on track. Wow, I feel like I need some water after that. It's actually really, really good chicken. Tad dry, but, you know, it happens. Chicken can get dry sometimes. Oh, it's perfectly timed. I needed a liquid. Tea, sleepy tea. Ow!
Very hot.
Yeah.
By the way.
Ow.
Give you time to talk while it's cool.
Yeah. It's cooling hot water. I went to grab the cup and my thumb hit the top of the water and it's like boiling hot water because it's hot tea. Go figure. Durr. Okay. Side note to everyone here and anyone catching this later, I will not be streaming this Saturday. I'm doing my sister's birthday thing. I will not be streaming. I'm entertaining the idea of doing a makeup stream on Sunday because I want to make more progress in Final Fantasy X. And also it works out because then I can kick Steve out of the office, or the game room. We actually refer to it as the game room. All it is 2 desks with 4 monitors in it, but we call it the game room. Oh, Mantic, is that the monster? Or are you talking a character creator that he's doing? I will definitely tell her, Aegeus. I will definitely tell her. Alright, let me get my phone back over here. Oh, speaking of, apparently someone has sent me a message. 'Twas Jason, texting me to tell me to have a good day. He does that. He just texts me, like, out of the blue. They live far away from here now. They used to live in town, but they don't anymore. And, yeah, he'll just randomly text me and be like, have a great day. And I'll be like, aw. Usually it's always timed at the worst moment. It's like my phone's blowing up, or I haven't looked at my phone. There's 18,000 notifications on there. I'm trying to clear them all. I'm trying to check to see if there's anything actually important. I'm stressed. I'm in a hurry. I just clocked off. Like, usually it's in, like, those moments. And then I'll see that Jason texts me, and I'm just like, really? But then I can't be mad because then I just stop and break away from all the madness and I just read someone being nice and telling me to have a good day and I'm like filled with love. Maybe he just times them at that point. Like maybe he's like looking into his crystal ball and he's like, oh, yep, Tori's getting a little stressed, better text her. Oh, thanks, Swordplay. Well, I hope it was neat. Just sitting here, chillin' to some Besaid music and stitching. Have a fantastic rest of your night, evening, whatever time it is for you. I hope it's fantastic, because you're fantastic. So 14, it's 184 across. It's hard to find where the dropped one is. Oh, right? I never did knitting. I only did crochet, but my sister would, like, she would have that happen and it was just so, she would just like drop her needles and stare at the ceiling and just be like, why? Why? Woohoo! Thank you so much, Aegeus. I'm so glad that you guys enjoy the stitching streams. It's just so nice being able to do a little bit of everything. Pro people would tell me I should have put this on a separate channel, but you know what? Stitching is a part of my life, like gaming is part of my life, like DC20 is part of my life. It's all part of my life. So for me, it all goes on one channel. And I love you guys, and I love that you're here with me. Oh, hello, Tabletop. It is nice to hear from you because I don't always get to hear from you. I will say that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu sounds very, very impressive and intimidating. Actually, one of my players is a black belt in ninjutsu. And he is just recently, as of I think September or October, has opened up his own dojo here in town, which is super cool. But I can tell people I know a ninja. Like I can say he's a ninja, and then it's like no, like real. He's an actual ninja. It's really cool. He's cool though. He doesn't just do ninjutsu. There's another one he does, Kempo. He did Kempo and ninjutsu. Okay, so we're gonna actually park this because I don't trust that I counted that correctly. So now we're gonna move back. So doing cross country, as you guys saw, where I just do one color out for a bit. So I just did all of this over in here, and I just do one color until I run out of that color. So now I'm going to backtrack to where I started, which was actually in this range somewhere, and pick a different color and then fill in the gaps. Which is this? 1, 2, 3. This is not that spot. There's the 3. Oh, this is higher. That's that one down there. Who's here? Who is that missing stitch? Oh, the color I was just doing was that missing stitch. Good job. Now I'm gonna have to go back and do just that one. It's gonna suck. Okay, let's do an easy one. Yeah, let's do this one. Let's do 976. Okay. 976. Yeah, the one thing that's really cool about listening to him talk tabletop is that it's not just it's like a way of life. It's like a whole philosophy. It's not just like, oh, you punch people real hard. It's so much more than that. Okay, so we're gonna actually come over here. Oop, I pulled too quickly too fast. Thread was shorter than I thought. Oh, it's not a loop. This is a cut thread. So what we're gonna do is do this. The start method that I learned from Teresa Little Stitcher and just haven't unlearned it yet because, I mean, it works. I haven't really had any problems. I bet you some stitchers would tell me it's not secure, but it works for me. I haven't had any issues. I have framed finished pieces that have been washed that have not had any issues. Okay, so that's those two. So no, wait a minute. Oh! Oh, I done messed up. Okay, we're gonna do that again. I messed up. That was my bad. The hardest part about this piece is orienting yourself. The entire piece has only like, I think, how many colors does it have? These are all of the colors for the whole project. It's actually not very many. It kind of looks like a lot, but actually in the world of cross-stitching, that's like very few. So when you've just got this giant sea, and I haven't even gotten to most of those colors. All of this up in here is like the same 5 colors. So it's just these blotches of these different colors that don't look like anything. It actually is kind of really hard to orient yourself. Okay, let's actually start in the correct spot, shall we? Oh yeah, Grim Squirrel, I just saw your message from earlier. Yeah, that's, because with knitting you can drop a stitch. Kind of almost, I would say innocently? Is that, like, you can kind of do it by accident, but, with crochet, I feel like that's a little harder to do. Although, I guess not kind of, because really all you gotta do as you're going along is just, like, accidentally skip. Maybe, you know, now that I think about it, actually. It's actually funny that you hopped on here, because I just found out from Beth that she picked up her knitting needles again. It's been years, I think, since I've seen her stitch. Or not stitch, you know, do something other than cross stitch. She's been mainlining that for a while. Well, I guess there was some diamond painting in there too, but I haven't seen her knit in many years. Oh. Yeah, no, I never did get into knitting. Oh, all of the little symbols. So, for starters, I can highlight a specific symbol, so you notice how it turns all of these green. And then up here in the corner, it tells me what number that symbol is. So that symbol is 976. It looks backwards on your computer, but that's on the camera, but that's 976. So basically, I can just double tap it and it highlights them all. So now I can see. So what I do is I'm like, okay, stitch, stitch, blank, stitch. Okay, stitch, stitch, blank, stitch. So I orient myself, and then all I gotta do is basically just follow the pattern. You know, like I just count like, okay, 3 down. And you get to a point where you're not counting 3. You get to a point where you're just like, oh, T shape. Like you just kind of see it and then you kind of just replicate it. And then, of course, the fact that it has the DMC color on there, so all of these have the DMC colors on them so that I know that that is that color. And then I just keep going. So like, for example, right here is the top of the T shape. So now I'm going to come in right here. And I'm going to do a stitch here, here, and here, and that's going to complete that T shape that I was just talking about. Yeah, having Pattern Keeper helps a lot with the actually seeing the symbols. That highlight feature is pretty invaluable. Of course, Mirabilia does not have a PDF copy. So Mirabilia only comes on paper. Only comes on paper. So I can't do this. I can't like import it and use this little app like I do. Oh, by the way, you can also like I highlighted these purple ones, so if I hit clear, so if I do this, I like highlight just the ones I did and then I hit the button and then they color and then I know they're done. So as far as marking them off. But yeah, so for Mirabilia, what I ended up having to do was load it up in a notes app. Like I tried to scan it. See if I can do this. Where is it? Oh, here it is. So I have to scan it. What? No conflict? That one. Okay, it's trying to sync right now. But basically, it's not even straight. I have to lock my phone orientation to turn it right ways. Then I have to get like as close as it'll let me get. This is a scan from my scanner. And then I have to use a little pen that, you know, like the little pen. And then I have to sit there and mark off. So I have to like actually pay attention to that. That's old school. That's like how cross-stitching would have been done, you know, before phones and computers and stuff. And needless to say, when I'm relaxing, this is the version I prefer. This is the shutting my brain off version, where I don't really have to think that hard. And on an 18 count, which is a large count to boot, so I don't have to count every other hole. I just work in squares like you do. So it's also easier. This is a straight up easier project. This is actually my first full coverage project that I ever started. I think I started this in... Gosh, when did I start this? Here we go. Hey, somebody's posting in the Discord. We should go check that out. Stream. So, let's see. So, bitch, projects, me, my projects, Zelda. Oh, I started on July 27th of 2018. That seems... Really? 2018? That's it? Wow, I thought it was longer ago than that. Alright, well, I guess I started in 2018. Oh, I guess that makes sense, because I started Littlest Fairy in 2019. That one's actually finished and hanging. That was my first... No! Kitty was my first Haid finish. Okay. Kitty was my first Haid finish. Littlest Fairy was second. But this was the first one I started. Difference between starting and finishing. So I started this one, then I started Fairy, then I started Littlest Kitty. Finished Littlest Kitty because it was supposed to be someone's present, so I was kind of on a time limit. And I finished it, I think, in like record time too. It was like only a couple of months. Well, I mean like 6 or some odd months, but it wasn't like a year like you would. Because I wasn't working on Zelda for a really, really long time. So I started it in 2018, but I only worked on it for like until 2019, and then I stopped and I worked on all these other projects. I actually, this is the first time, not like this stream, but this like within this month is the first time I pulled out Zelda map since like 2019. But it's nice to have a turn your brain off project, because Mirabilia, pretty as it is definitely a more of a hard focus project. A lot more focus. Yeah, cross-stitching is not for the impatient. Okay, see, now this is where I mess myself up. So you see this shape right here? In fact, you probably can't hardly see it on camera all that well. So this shape right here. So there's 2 on here, 2 on the edge. So you see that 2, kitty corner 2. But if you look at the phone, I don't have all of that marked off yet. I have 2 and then 1. So see, this is where I get myself in trouble, is when I don't mark off what I've done. So I've done the 2. Boop, boop. There we go. Okay. Now I have to move this back though, or I can't see what I'm doing. That'll get you in trouble though if you're not careful. Okay, so I can do these 2 down here. And again, sorry for the shaking. The frame isn't exactly the most stable at the moment. I'm trying to lean it. I'm trying to keep my arm pressed up underneath it to minimize the shaking. And when it's like the camera is picking it up worse than I think it kind of actually is, because the camera's real zoomed in on it. And cameras do as cameras do. Yeah. Hello, Gauze. How are you, good sir? Yep, we're doing a surprise. Basically, I finished recording the next video because I'm a week behind, so I only just now recorded it. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to do some stitching. Steve's in the kitchen, because tonight's recording night. And so I was like, you know, I'm gonna stitch. And then I thought, well, I've got a camera right here, don't I? Might as well just turn that on and stitch away. This is Zelda map. I think this is the first time Zelda map's been on camera, too. Oh yeah, no judgment here, tabletop. I also have to get up at 4. I get up at 4:30, but not 4, but I feel your feels, trust me. I am with you. Thank you so much for stopping by. Always nice to hear from you, because we don't always get to catch you, because of probably, you know, timing and such. So it's really nice hearing from you, Table. Steve's in the kitchen. That's right. We alternate cooking. So the Thursday game is going to have a sort of finale type session, and then the Thursday game is going to go on hiatus for a while. The Tuesday game unfortunately didn't get started because just reasons. So I'm going to end up swapping off from Tuesdays to Thursdays plus Fridays, but yeah. There's a lot going on, so it's helpful that Steve jumps in and helps. Oh, that's not even... Can't even see what I'm doing when I'm doing those tails, huh? Where is that tail? Oh, it's just off camera. I don't think no. I don't think ASMR is... If I did anything ASMR, it would be the stitching itself. So you'd hear like the thunk and the pull of the needle through the thread or through the fabric and stuff. Of course, I'd have to get the darn frame to stop shaking so much, wouldn't I? Bit of a long tail, but I'm gonna cut it anyways because I can. Again, apologies for the camo pants, but they're my pajamas and I'm relaxing and it's camo pants. Blech. To answer the question, Gauze, kinda, yeah. I mean, when you think about it, my Saturday streams are at 5 a.m., so... Okay, here we go. Let's get back more center frame. Okay. And let's see, let's do... I'm probably gonna have this on. I'm worried that the phone being on the corner of the fabric down here is pulling on the oh no, I guess there is a bar right behind it. Okay, I feel more comfortable now. Okay, let's see. So we just did all of this up in here. So next stop would probably be this guy, which I don't like because he's just one stitch of one color. So we're gonna start a thread, do one stitch, and then like immediately end that thread. Oh well. 'Tis the name of the game. The cool part about this project having so few colors is that I can do huge chunks of it at a time. Like all things told, it kind of stitches up really quickly. Did this like fall? Am I like crazy? I think I'm crazy. I think I'm losing my mind. Okay. Come on, come on. There you go. Okay. So literally just that one stitch. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. From... Yeah, so... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up, approximately here. Now this used to be gridded, and if it was still gridded, that would also make things easier. But I let the grid lines fade. I am now headcanoning that you, a follower of the oft-forgotten what? What? Patience wishes the sun, and you get up every day to pray to it. What in the world, Cause? I don't even know what I just read. I'm laughing and smiling, but I don't. I kind of sort of follow what you're saying there, but I think it's because well, I had to for a long time, and as a result got used to it. I worked at a fast food restaurant in my teenage years. I had to be up to get there at 7 to do opening crap for the store to open on weekends, and then I went to high school, so I still had to get up at like 7 or 6 some odd, you know, because we would like leave to get to school. Like the bus would come at like something 30. Like I was on the bus for a while before school started at 8. So I mean, like I've kind of always had to get up early, and so I think I just like acclimatized to it. And you know, when you follow like self-help channels that tell you to get up at the same time every day 7 days a week because it's good for you, and makes it easier, they're not joking. Like people who sleep in on weekends, well, I guess I can't speak for all people, but in general my experience has been trying to sleep in on the weekend, both for myself and people who I know. It makes it harder. It like drastically messes with things. Like if you just get up at the same time, regardless of the time, if it's just the same time 7 days a week, like everything gets easier. Like you get to a point where you don't even need to set an alarm. You just like, oh, I'm awake now. Of course, I don't have a job that requires me to be like on the clock at all hours of the day and night, so that probably doesn't help your cause, Gauze. To be fair, if, you know, it helps that I have a regular schedule. But yeah, for the most part, I don't even have to, like, the body is trained. Like, it just kind of knows, like, oh, it's bedtime, and I'll just start getting sleepy. Like, I could pound coffee and everything, and I'll just still start getting sleepy. Except for what happens in those cases, if I try to force myself to stay up, is that I'll get super, super sleepy, I'll be miserable, I can't function, but the caffeine in my system won't let me, like, sleep. And it creates this weird thing where I'm simultaneously wide awake, but also not at all awake, and it's miserable. I hate it. I would rather just, like, if I'm sleepy and it's that time, I'd rather just screw it and go to bed. And then I'll continue whatever I was working on when I get up in the next morning. Okay, so both of those. Which makes living with a night owl hilarious, if not mildly frustrating. Because it's not just the fact that he stays up late and then sleeps, and then on weekends it's even worse. It's like he has to get up early for work too. But then, like, on the weekends, he, like, stays up to, like, 2 in the morning or something, and then wakes up at, like, 10, and then is all, like, uber sleepy and out of it and struggle busing. But, it's not just that. It's also that, like, and I think this is just from years of acclimatizing, but, like, at 4 or 5 in the morning, especially when, like, that first sip of coffee kicks in, I am, like, at my... That's why I like to do my editing at that hour. That's why I stream at that hour. It's because usually, like, that's kind of when I'm at my best. You know, I'm, like, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, as it were. And creativity is flowing and things are good. And usually by 9, 10 o'clock, I get a sort of mid-morning sleepiness that comes through, where I'm, like, kind of crashing already. But he's, like, the opposite. He, like, as soon as, like, 8, 9 o'clock comes around... That's when he wakes up, and then he's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. And then usually he's, like, super engaged with something, and he's, like, trying to talk to me, and I'm, like, lying in bed, like, half out of it, like, sure, yeah, okay, Please don't talk to me when I'm trying to fall asleep. But then, like, I do the same thing to him in the wee hours of the morning. Like, he'll stumble out and start cooking his breakfast, and I'm all super excited and talking to him about something, and he's just over there like, So we trade places. I need to domesticate my Steve. Well, according to your own words, Goths, he is a real man. Certified by yourself in a different stream we were doing, so... I'd take that for what it will. I don't know if domesticate is the right word. But you don't get calls every day. Well, and I bet you now things have presumably calmed down? Question mark? Yeah, let's see, we were up here. Where did I go? Where did I go? I lost where I was. Where was I? I looked up to check the chat, and now look what I've done. Pretty sure that was... Where are you? Where are you? Oh, there you are. I see you. There you are. So if you're there... Oh. Wait a minute. I'm not up here. I'm down here. Okay, so what the heck? Oh, unless it's both. It was probably both. Okay, so I can come down here. It's a bit of a travel, but oh well. Generally, you want to try not to travel too much. But when you're doing cross-country, a little bit of travel is gonna happen. It's probably in the name of the game, I suppose. Whoa, there's a bunch of chats. Okay, gotta catch up here a little bit. So, let's see. Grim Squirrel, hey, I only have 1 block of time. Oh, a lot of things have calmed down now. It's mostly just people calling to share stories. Well, that sounds like a fun time, kind of. Unless you're, like, in one of those situations where you're like, please stop talking to me, I want to just go now. And they're still trying to share their story. I've done that to Steve way too many times, I think. Like, I'm still talking to him, and then I look over and I notice the, like, tuned out expression on his face, and I was like, oh, man, I was talking too much, wasn't I? The saving grace is that he does it to me all the time. Not the tuned out expression, the flip-flop where he's talking at me and talking and talking and talking and still talking, and I'm like, oi, oi, oi. I got your point when you repeated it 8 times the first time. Like, he does that too. We both do that. It's just what people do when they're excited. They talk a lot about the thing they're excited about. What can we say? Dunk. Okay, so we're gonna kitty corner there, and then we're down here, and then this should be the bottom of the grid, because there's teeny tiny little grid lines still there. I had a Kingdom Hearts project I was working on at one point, but I abandoned it. Because I think the final image just was too pixelated and not pretty enough. She says that she's working on this, like, brown... I actually thought about abandoning this project, too. I'm only working on it now because it's, like, an easy 18 count. So, like, why not? But there's a part of me that's like, I don't think I'm ever gonna actually finish this. Just because it's so dull with... Like, I was so excited when I first started because of the, you know, I liked the look of the Zelda map, but man, spending hours and hours and hours of your time with just the same, like, 5 shades of tan and brown does get old after a while. Color is a thing. Color is very much a thing. This thread somehow got all twisted. I don't know how it got twisted. 2-strand will do that. I've heard Beth say that she prefers single-strand stitching because the threads don't get all turned around, but normally I don't really have that much of a problem. It seems like in this particular instance I have a bit of a problem. For a month-long getaway of Christmas is the last huzzah. Oh, there you go. See, good stories. Good stories. Oh gosh, and I've only got one more here, so I might as well do this one, and then I might as well end the thread. Time is it? 7:30? I got a little bit longer. I don't even know how long I've been live, to be honest. My timestamp on OBS is covered up. But that's okay. Doesn't do me any good to just stitch 5 stitches and then, like, leave. You know? I gotta actually get some progress in, otherwise what's the point? About the stranger, is that supposed to be the strangest door knocker of all time? We had a whole bunch of door knockers here. I've never experienced so many door knockers, so many random people coming up to my house. Doorbell just going off all the time, and I'm like, what is it? Strangest, yeah. It feels like every time I put this back up here, it's like shifting position without my intention. There we go. Center. Center, my friend. I see I was supposed to have an image of the completed project. Over in the corner, so you wouldn't have black screen in the corner. And look how well that turned out. Oh, you know what, though? You know what I could do? That I probably should have thought of before now? Let's do that. And then that... That. What's something fun? That's something fun. There we go. There. Space whales. Except for you can't see the space whales, but this is actually a picture of space whales. To fill in the blank void. So it's not blank void. I guess there's blank void on the top, but there you go. It's a little less blank void. Okay, let's see. Guy didn't follow the addresses on his app and was just looking them up on his cell phone and wound up driving 4 to 6 hours to go to a town in another state. That's definitely okay. That's... wow. It's crazy. Four to 6 hours. Could I even get to another state? Well, I guess technically I could because I'm right on the corner. So if I went in the other direction, I could go to a different country in 4 to 6 hours. Well, wasn't it kind of his fault if he wasn't, like, paying attention, or was it genuinely the app's fault? Okay, let's go over here. Ooh. Oh, wow, this is a lot. Okay. 434. 434. Which I'm gonna have to get more of here soon. I'm kind of running out. Actually, I might already have another skein of it somewhere that I have to just wind up. Yeah, I'm gonna have to make a mental note if I ever do this again with this particular frame that I have to have the camera at an explicit 90 degree or 180 degree or 0 degree angle. Like, it has to be at right angles. Because the whole rotation thing I don't think is working, but yeah, let's start in here because that'll be fun. There you go. There we go. Okay, that was a tricksy one. Kind of a messy stitch. Sometimes the needle finds its spot and it just comes cleanly through, and then other times it's a little bit messy. And you end up splitting existing stitches, which probably is not that big a deal in the, probably not that big a deal in the moment, but if you ever go to undo or unpick those split stitches, it can get really naughty and messy. That was weird. It said that my chat disconnected for a bit. I got concerned. I was like, did the internet drop out again? But then it reconnected, so that was just odd. Very odd. You'd still be in your own state if you did that. Yeah, some states are huge. It depends, because I'm in the corner, so if I drive 4 to 6 hours in one direction, I'd still be in the same state, but if I drove 30 minutes in the other direction, I would be in a different country. And then I could go wave to Bear, I guess. Bear and Grumpy. Except for I think they're at the other end. I think they're east of me. I think Grumpy is. I don't know. My geography is not the greatest at 7:30 at night. Alright, there we go. We're almost done filling in this, like, kind of bit here. It's nice seeing the bits that fill in. That part of cross country is satisfying to see the... Oh, don't you be difficult on me. There you go. To see the bits fill in. Okay, so then we're gonna come across the top. I don't know. I can't say that I will never finish Zelda map, but let's just say once I get Ranger up and running, that's probably gonna receive all of my attention. I gotta pull this sucker off and redo the edging anyways. Which means busting out the sewing machine, which means clearing a spot on the table, which means finding a time that's free time on, like, a Saturday or something when I'm not A, spending it with someone else, and B, gaming. It's a tough call. But it does need to be done. I had to cut off the original hem or edging on this piece to get it onto the frame. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, guys, I think that's just because you live in an area where the states are, like, really teeny tiny in comparison. 8 hours of driving through flatlands is hard on the brain. Yeah. Especially if you're by yourself. I would go quite potentially crazy. Now when I'm in a vehicle, because we did do a road trip across the Midwest two summers. That was fun, but you know, I had someone else to talk to. Okay, yep. So mark all of these is off. Mark all of those is off. Well, we did 110 stitches, so yay, we breached 100. That's actually very not impressive. Oh, excuse me. My stitching has gotten so much slower, especially with the channel and all of that. It's like I don't do it nearly as much anymore, and even when I do it, it's for some reason very slow compared to what I used to have. I used to have like 1300, I think was my highest, or easily 800, 900 on a day. Let's see, 1, 2, yeah, 1, 2. I think we need to do one more. Okay, and then I'm gonna come back down here. What is up? Why is this off? Let's see, 1, 2. Oh, do I need to do 3? Do I need to do 3 out? No, because that kind of is 3. So this one goes here, which tells me that that one is incorrect. Or there's an extra stitch there that doesn't need to be there. There's an extra stitch there that doesn't need to be there, but you know what? It was probably a mistake from earlier. We're just gonna mark it as done and move about our day. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you stitch the wrong stitch in the wrong spot, and you gotta kind of ask yourself whether it's worth like going back and unpicking or cutting out the stitch or whatever, or just basically kind of sort of stitching around it and adjusting what's marked as done on the actual pattern. Certain spots I don't think it's gonna matter. I mean, it would basically being like 1 pixel off on an image. You know, like for the most part no one's gonna notice. Heck, once I'm further into the project I won't probably even notice. But there are certain spots where it can really stand out real bad. On Littlest Fairy, there's a spot where I didn't go 1 stitch far enough out on her wing, but because you're talking a black wing that's rounded against a neon pink background, me being 1 stitch off means her wings, which would normally curve, kind of click and then keep going. Like there's this little hole. So in some spots, sometimes it's really noticeable and you can't fudge it. Also, there's a spot where I messed up and on her foot, and it's on her foot, so it's supposed to be like a peachy like skin tone color, but I accidentally used the wrong tan/brown. So there's this random handfuls of spots on her foot that are like really dark. Like she basically looks like she has some disease on her foot now. And I can never ever unsee that, but at the same time, I think most people kind of don't really notice, to be honest. So, I mean, you get stuff like that. It happens. A bit narrow on the west. It's pretty much straight shot to West Virginia. No, 8 hours get me either Florida or New York. It's nice having some urban centers nearby. Yeah, that would be... I could see that as being a potential benefit. Okay, so 1, 2... Wow, I already did a whole bunch more than I thought. Okay, here we go. Now we're... Go figure, I complain about being slow and then I start picking up speed. Okay. Again, I still do apologize for the wiggling. This is probably not the same camera setup I'll use in future, but then again, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it the other way with Zelda map because the frame is so huge. So we'll see. At least for this evening, we got some chill time in. We got some hot tea. We got some stitching in. It's a good evening. It's a good time to just take a breath, take a moment, just Hello. Why would you? Let's see. New York rat or a Florida? Oh, who would you rather fight? New York rat or a Florida man? Yes, yes, it is. In fact, Seraphis, if you'll harken back to the computer build stream that we did, this was the background music that was playing during the computer build stream as well, actually. Just because it's so perfect for, like, background, like, stitchy background noise. Okay, excuse me. Hold on. Let's see. So did those three. So, oh, is it down here? It's these guys down here. I'm gonna have to end my thread soon, though, aren't I? Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna quite do Zelda map again on stream, at least not without a little bit more prep time and setup time to get this setup exactly right. Because I'm learning that the easiest, best way to do this is just to clamp it to my desk. Excuse me. Oh, I'm making gross noises. Ugh, my throat and my stomach are over here making, like, weird noises. Yeah, I think the best thing is clamping it to my desk because it's just so much more stable. I mean, when I'm just sitting here stitching on my own, like, not with a camera, the wiggling doesn't really bother me. It's like, it's there, but you just kind of tune it out after a while. But when it's on a camera and it's shaking a whole bunch, I could see that as being kind of, like, not fun to watch. Then again, streams like this are usually the kind you put on in the background anyways. So, I mean, who's really, like, watching? I bet most people just have it on a second screen or something, which is fine. I love being able to put on something, I'll, like, throw it on my second monitor and then, like, not really pay attention to it, but just have it on in the background. I'll do that for video games, for stitching, you name it. I just love doing that, so if someone told me they weren't watching and they were just listening, I would be a-okay with that. And my thread's kind of too short. I will say this is technically a larger needle too, by the way, than what you've seen me use with Mirabilia. So, that's always nice. It's easier to thread because the eye is larger. Alright, let's see. Connoisseur of fine Tori streams. Yes. Let's see. Take Florida man. They might get bored and distracted by a sudden desire to do something zany and walk away. It's funny, I live such a sheltered life that I don't know that I could really comment. Like, I don't know anybody from Florida. I don't know what the culture is like there. Heck, my state doesn't even really have an identifiable culture anymore. It had one, and then, like, a zillion million people decided that it would be really great to come invade our nice rural area and live here. So now there is no, like, discernible culture, it seems, anymore. There's, like, the remnants of one, but everybody else left and brought the city with them. You know what? Here's the funny thing, gods. The Californians aren't the ones I'm mad at. They're not really the problem anymore. I mean, sure, there are still some Californians that are part of that group, but the one thing I was really surprised to learn when I was working in a company that works directly in real estate and construction, both, like both new construction and also existing homes. I'm gonna see if I can reorient that a little more straight for you guys. Okay, there you go. A lot of it are Texans and Canadians. I was shocked and surprised when I found out that the large majority of like the property buying and the new construction, especially, and the new moving in, at least in the market that we were in, were all Canadians and Texans. Like by a long shot, they outnumbered the Californians. So, which is weird to me. I don't get it. But then again, I'm not rich enough to own multiple houses and crap like that. So, I don't know. Not my playhouse. Not my playhouse. I just know that it makes the locals mad. Like, people have lived here a long time and they didn't really like seeing their green country turned not so green anymore. Caltexians. I didn't even think of that. Caltexians? Maybe that's what it is. A lot of fleeing going on. I don't know. I want them to go away from here. That's what I want. Not gonna happen, so I mean, I kind of have to live and let live with it, but I wish that they weren't here. Although, to be fair, a good number of them are also snowbirds, so they're kind of not here. They basically show up, poop on everything like seagulls, and then take off. That's okay. I work in a nice, calm furniture shop now. Things are slow. I'm not dealing... Well, we still get kind of demanding people. It's a different kind of demanding, but it's way more slower paced, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay and happy with that. Whoa, is there another thread back there? Just looking at this way. Oh yeah, there is. There's another, like... What is going on back there? Is that a tail that didn't get cut? It feels like that's a tail that didn't get cut. Alright, I need to check my back. Let's see. Yeah, I've heard the food is really good. I can't say anything. I don't think there's any spectacular dishes that like come from my area or anything like that. I don't know. But there's a lot of, we'll put it this way, there's a lot of places all over the place that has way better food than we have. Of course, we don't really have a whole ton of like restaurants or anything like that here. It's like, you know, like if you want good food, you make the food. Okay, sorry that I keep having... That's how I have to turn it over to get to my other side, though. I think we lost focus a little bit, but that's okay. Here. Can we refocus, camera? Nope, you're just gonna make things blurry. What was it that I was just saying about how people just listen to it and don't really watch? I think the camera took me literally. Oh, there it goes. Now it's focused in a little bit. Good camera. Good camera. Okay, let's see if we can finish out some of this. So let's see. Okay, so we've got... Coming out of there, 1, 2, then this is 3. And down here. From Appalachia, so we are super friendly and welcoming to outsiders. If you here, you get bonus points if you traumatize tourist kids. If you shoot the deer they're staring at like morons. Yeah, that's kind of the same vibe. I don't know that we actually commit and do the shooting, but like, we're thinking about it. Actually, I don't know if this is still a big deal, but like when I was a kid, it was kind of a big deal. But the freaking bears. Like, idiot people like, "Oh, look, a bear. Let me get out of my car and go look at it. Let me get real close to it. Let's everybody stop and take pictures of the bear that just came out of hibernation in the spring that isn't like starved for food or anything." It seems like when I was a kid that was like a huge thing. Like so many dumb people would like stop and try and like interact with the bears. And no, not the football team. Which is also funny because I've lived here for I don't even know how long now. Not quite my whole life, but definitely a long, 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 long time. And I don't know that I've ever actually seen a bear in real life. I think they all like figured out that all the people were moving here, so they're like, "Peace, I'm out." Alright, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that one should be up there. This is going to be a little bit tricksy. So what I'm going to do actually is come down instead of continuing to go across. Oh, I just remembered I was talking about Foundry earlier. Well, that just popped back into my head. I don't think I ever finished my original point of why I both like it and don't like it at the same time. Maybe I did finish my point. Maybe I'm just getting real sleepy. That just popped into my head. I think that was prior to you popping on Gauze, but we were talking about Foundry. Oh, is someone, one second, I have to... There we go. Oh, yeah. Yeah, deer. People hitting deer with their cars. Deer, they just kind of like, whatever. They lounge in people's yards, eat their gardens. You had to drive a little bit out to probably get into the bears, but well, then again, I know people who have like they have security cameras hooked up because they catch like the lion mountains on their security cameras. I mean, I know people, well, not like personally, but like I've interacted with customers and stuff, and people who put up security cameras on their house not for security reasons, but because they want to catch the wildlife. Those are people who live in a lot more out there than I do, though. I live in town. Because that's what I can afford. Because I'm a peasant. But that's okay. Because, you know, I'm a happy peasant, all things considered. Insert the scene from Holy Grail. Right there where they're digging in the dirt. Help! Help! I'm being repressed! As soon as I say peasant, that's what I think of. Oh, they're overpopulated. Oh, dang, that sounds miserable. I guess that means that you get to eat a lot of venison, because true story, I do like venison meat. Not as much as I like elk meat, but I do like venison once in a while. I like elk meat the best, though. Elk meat is like one of the only like meats that I will eat in steak form, because I don't actually like steak. It's a trauma thing. I don't like steak. I don't like any cut of meat that's like a cut of meat. It has to be like ground or processed in some way. I can't do anything that's like has fat in it, like steak, roast. I in general can't really do any of that. But we'll get like people around here hunt and then they'll get it turned into like jerky or like beef sticks, except for it's deer meat sticks, venison sticks. So we've done that. That was good. That was tasty. Okay, so that went all the way across, so this one's gonna go all the way across. I think we're probably gonna have to... You know, now that I'm thinking about it, I really want to get Rangers set up now, but I shouldn't. I should do Artificer first. The thing about Artificer is I've got to repair the fabric. That's what's holding me back. Otherwise, I would have started on it. I mean, I did start on it like a while ago, but the problem is that I did it 1/1 and it was just the worst. So my sister was kind enough to save my fabric, save me, and she unpicked all of the 1/1, which is like, I don't even know how she did it. She's like got superpowers or something, I don't know. But she picked all of the 1/1 so that I could have the fabric back, because it's hand-dyed fabric, so I can't just order another one in that exact same shade, right? Because anything I order is going to come in a slightly different shade. And it was perfect for the Artificer pattern. So she did that, but before she did it, when I was trying to do it, I cut one of the strands. And so I was gonna just try and stitch over the top of it, but then I got to hang out with Karen Needlebug. She's a floss tuber. And so we had a video chat, and then she was talking to me. I found her video about it, and so I think she's gonna help me repair the fabric, which is what I really should do. I should do that. The only reason I prepped Ranger is because I'm lazy and time constraint, and so it's easier for me to just pick up the floss I already have and the fabric I already have and get started. But I need to actually schedule time with her and sit down and repair that fabric and get Artificer started. Oh, there's my scissors. Use speech craft with mending on it. You know, it's really interesting. I wasn't able to catch the whole thing, but I caught bits and pieces of slash kind of the tail end of your Talking Drek, where you talked about Artificer way back when, because I keep missing all your Talking Drek episodes now, apparently. I like stop and look at my phone at like 10 o'clock, like, oh shoot, that was 4 hours ago. But that was a really interesting conversation to hang out with. Go away. Because a lot of the stuff that you guys are talking about in terms of problems with Artificers, and I know you say it differently than me, but I don't have any of those problems. Like, I have someone who religiously plays an Artificer in every single game I've run with him, and like not once has anything been an issue. So I just it's like, what issue, what problem? You guys are going on, you had a whole panel about the deal with Artificers, and I'm like, what deal? They're just a class. They're no different than like a rogue or a paladin or whatnot. Like, I don't get it, because I've never had any kind of issue. Talking Drek is a weekly show that Seraphis, it used to be Seraphis the Procrastinating Pirate. Now it's Seraphis the Down Under Space Pirate. But he does a weekly show on Sundays called Talking Drek, where it's basically just like a podcasty, almost like just chit-chatting, sometimes talking about gaming, sometimes just like life stuff, sometimes, just whatever. Just kind of hanging out. And I used to catch every episode, and then I had that one weekend where I was like, I had stayed up way too late, and then I slept in, and then I haven't gotten back into the routine. Like, when I wake up on Sunday mornings, it's like phones off, tablets off, lights are off. It's just me and a game of choice. Like, I kind of disappear from Earth. No texting, no Discord, no nothing. That's the last few Sundays that has been the thing. But yeah, so I gonna go ahead and call it here. So let's see. So we did this bit up here, this orangey colored bit up here got done. This cream bit over here got done. These dark bits in here, and I think one, like, couple of the cream bit in there got done. So we did it. We did kind of this region right over in here, which is pretty good actually. That's not bad. That is not bad at all. And next time I do a Stitch stream, I'll have one of the smaller in-hand projects, so it'll be more stable. It'll look better. All of that fun jazz. Ah, if you say so, Gauze, if you say so. But no, I am gonna kind of call it here, guys. It's 8 o'clock my time. My sleepy tea is kicking in. It's time for me to go kind of lay down with the cat for a bit. Thank you so much for hanging out. Also, thank you to everyone who had to bounce earlier. We did, like I said, we did a fair bit. We did all of this in here. That's not terrible. And I got to get a little more practice in terms of camera and angle and all of that stuff too. So, yeah, but I really appreciate you guys coming in and chilling with me. It is always a good time. I love that you guys love stitching. And I will see you laters.